and welcome to the New Movie Thing Show. I'm Trisha Hirschberger.
I'm Sam Basher.
And today we got to go see
Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1, and
Yes,
it was something.
Is that your official quickie review? It was something?
It was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
In that?
Yes, it was. I liked how they fleshed some things out, but it did not need to be its own movie. What did you
My quickie review is, I would agree, it does not need to be its own movie, but it was really fun, and if you're a fan of the series, it's very faithful to the book, and you will appreciate that. And I'm wearing my Mockingjay pin that I got at the sneak last night by being very stealthy and saying, President Coin.
My theater
To
wasn't
the
that
concession people. So for those of you that are not familiar with the Hunger Games, Mockingjay, it is the third book in the book trilogy. And for the movie, they split it into two parts, part 1 and part 2. The movie that we saw is part 1 of that. So you want to give a one-line plot synopsis?
It was. We are following right after the destruction of District 12 and the Quarter Quell Hunger Games. That was part 2. And it's basically, you're going to see Katniss dealing with PTSD and her being used as a propaganda piece for District 13, and her just dealing with the loss of PETA, the loss of her home, and everything like that. The problem I have with this movie is that it's just stretched out. It didn't need to be a part 1 and a part 2, and it ends so abruptly, and the movie's only an hour and 40 minutes,
It's only an hour and 40 minutes, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but like 90 minutes is the good measuring point for most kids' movies.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit longer than that. Like, as soon as it finished, I went, that's it?
Yeah.
It's over?
You made a good point. It could have had another hour, and like you could have just, like finished like a good bulk of it, and then after could be, I don't know, there could have been a part 2, but it's not needed to be a part 2.
Well, I liked that they were able to really delve into those moments in the book that are like iconic moments that stand out from the book. They really got to do it, like just little things, like when Katniss and Gale go hunting.
Yes.
Like that kind of stuff. I feel like if you were normally adapting a book to a movie, you'd have to skip over a lot of those character building moments, which they didn't have to because of this. But I also felt like they expanded on some moments that weren't really necessary.
Yes.
Like when they went into, you know what? I'm not going to say it because spoiler alert. But there are moments where they go into things that we don't see through Katniss's eyes. And the book is very, we're witnessing everything as Katniss witnesses it. And I think that that takes away a little of the beauty of the narrative of the story.
Yeah, I don't feel like it took away from anything. I actually enjoyed that they got to take advantage of Philip Seymour Hoffman and Elizabeth Banks. Both of their characters are great. I'm not going to say anything more. I just liked how they used it, and it was a little heartbreaking to see him in this.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch any CGI, because I know they said they were going to do that.
He was great in it,
Yeah.
and whatever they did was completely seamless, because I couldn't pick it out either.
Oh, and biggest note is that they worked on Gale. In the previous 2 movies, I could care less about Gale. In this, you're gonna like him. He gets his own scenes.
Yeah, Gale's played by Liam Hemsworth in this movie, and he gets times to really shine. So for the people who are Team Gale as opposed to Team PETA, the Team Gale people get some gratification in this movie because you really get to see him do more with it, and that's great. Jennifer Lawrence was amazing as always. She is Katniss. And Josh Hutcherson, can I just say, pulled not a full-on machinist, but damn close.
Just a little.
Like, dude, I want to feed you a cheeseburger. It was for the movie. He didn't do it like because he has issues with his body image or anything like that. But
He was dedicated.
ooh, dedication.
Yeah, and he's great. I like seeing Josh Hutcherson in this because I always see him as just like a smaller actor who can never really break it in like A-list or like a showstopper or like a main guy, but he still does a great job with these movies. I'm never disappointed with him. He is PETA.
He is PETA. Yeah, I think that casting did a great job in the entire series, especially with those 3 leads, and they did a great job in this film as well. As did Elizabeth Banks as Effie Trinket.
Amazing.
You love her even more in this movie. She has more moments to kind of show her character, and that's great. And yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman is hilarious.
Yes, and I do, on Effie, they got to kind of flesh her out a little bit more in the movie than they did in the book. Because in the book, for me, I was annoyed with her. In this,
oh, really?
I kind of like, wow, she's sassy. Like, she's great. Elizabeth Banks brought a lot to the part. So I enjoyed her.
And for those of you that aren't familiar, this movie is much darker than the other two, if you can even imagine that. Yes, I know the other two are about killing innocent children, but this movie is even darker than those. So it's nice to have those moments of Effie or Philip Seymour Hoffman to come in there and just kind of lighten the mood a little with a small joke. My favorite part of this movie was the bomb shelter scene, and that's all I'll say about it. But I think that it really captured how incredibly terrifying that would be in real life in a way that the book just couldn't.
No, that's true, yeah.
I would say the movie did that fantastically.
I love how the director and the creative team behind it built the world, because District 13 looks a lot cooler in the movie than the way I pictured it. I think they did a great job, because it's like, it's that's a military compound, so they made it all very organized, the way people enter and exit the room, and like it was like, and the way they dressed, everything they did in that district, I very much liked, especially when you meet the characters and how they interact with each other. Specifically, President Coin with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Jennifer Lawrence. I love their scenes together.
Yeah, I'm sorry we didn't give a big shout out to President Coin.
Yeah, she's great.
Amazing.
Great, and props to who's the other president? Donald Sutherland.
President Snow.
President Snow. He's great too, but he's always great.
He's always great. Yeah, we're used to him being great, so it's nice to have them kind of be on an equal footing with each other. So, final thoughts for me. This movie was too short. It ended very abruptly, and I found myself not needing to see more in a way that I'm like, I can't wait for the next movie. I found myself needing to see more in a way that I wasn't satisfied. However, I do think that the things that they highlighted were very faithful to the book. The acting was fantastic, and I feel like they really did do justice to the story. So overall, I give Mockingjay Part 1 8 out of 10.
Oh. That's a little higher than me, but
go ahead, take it away, Sam.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I can't say that, but it wasn't a complete story for me. Like, I know this is part 1, part 2, but I wasn't watching a complete movie. So I was disappointed, but you have to give them props for how they developed the characters, the actors they had, and the scenes, the CGI, like everything was tops. So I give it. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Perfect, but Sam and I are not the only ones who got a chance to see this movie. Right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 69% from critics, but an 86% from audiences.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's fair. That's fair for critics and audience. That's a pretty fair judgment.
You feel good about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can live with that. And on IMDb, it's a 7.6 out of 10, which I still think is a pretty fair assessment.
That's a pretty average IMDb first day score anyway. So thank you guys so much for watching the New Movie Thing Show. If you get a chance to go out to the movies this weekend, I would recommend that you go see Mockingjay if you like futuristic dystopian societies and all that jazz. Or if you just like young adult literature and one chick being fought over by 2 hot guys, because that's a thing that's recurring in most young adult literature. I'm Trisha Hirschberg.
I'm Sam Basher. Team Gale.
You feel good?
Team Gale.
Oh, Team Gale, really?
I liked him in this. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him in this
and
too. I'm still Team
PETA.
PETA.
Skinny PETA.
Skinny PETA.